All right, back to release exterior wind invasion oils. And last video we talked about the warm release exterior. We're going to start out this one with essential oils for cough. And I recognize this is a really big module. This is a big section where we're covering a lot of individual oils. There's a couple reasons for that. One, as we've discussed, the oils are in several categories. So whatever categories we hit first, we're going to cover the most number of oils in due to that reason. And then also, essential oils are really great at helping resolve exterior wind invasions, hot, cold, damp, all different types. And we see this all the time. So it's great to have this wonderful, really effective tool. So it really makes sense to cover it in depth. And because I think you'll be using essential oils a lot for this. Sure, I've got the right marker. Okay, so for cough, we are going to start with cardamom. Oops. Okay, page 26, cardamom. Mid-note. The seeds are distilled. It's warming. Affinity for the lung and the spleen. 6% dilution. Contraindication: irritates the mucous membranes and should not use it with deficient yin and blood. Antispasmodic, decongestion, anti-reflux, and deodorant is listed here. And then let's just quick put our categories up. Clear summer heat. Warm interior. And stop cough. Okay, functions: harmonize the spleen and stomach. Good for use with poor appetite, diarrhea, nausea, and indigestion. And that's probably a stronger category for cardamom, would be in the digestive, but I also wanted to include it with cough, so we're starting with it here in cough. They transform dampness in summer heat. Descends qi for coughing, vomiting, reflux, abdominal spasm. Moves qi stagnation. Helps to resolve turbid dampness and rebellious qi. Good for nausea and reflux. Doesn't take much, just a little sniff. Poor concentration and mental fatigue. And it's another one that's good for weak immunity, for wei qi that needs some bolstering. Good for people who have become indifferent to what the world has to offer them. Has a connection with the midbrain up to the brain, and it is antibacterial. It says here similar to clove. It's a good low oil because it harmonizes the blood, harmonizes and strengthens the spleen and stomach. So cardamom. So we'd be using this to descend qi for cough, and especially when there's dampness. And underlying deficiency. Cyprus is next. There's a lot of sea oils. Okay, Cyprus, page 43. Cyprus is mid-base. The needles and twigs are distilled. It is slightly cool. Goes to lung, spleen, kidney. %5 dilution. Contraindications are to be cautious with hypertension and cautious with breast and prostate cancer. Categories. Clear heat, primarily from the lung. Astringe, this is a strong category it's in. And stop cough. Astringent, sedative, antispasmodic, and diuretic. It is the functions. We have transform dampness and clear lung heat, and that is helping kidney yang to ascend to support the spleen and then the lung. Astringes fluid discharge for leakage of qi, sweat, urine, diarrhea, or menses, through those, you know. It ascends spleen qi for prolapse, hemorrhoids, varicose veins. Assists the kidneys to grasp lung qi. It can arrest wheezing and bedwetting, both under that function. And it's really good for heat type wheezing. It ventilates heat and astringes the water. Helps to come to terms with grief, dampness from thinking of the past. Helps one to accept loss, and it is historically planted around graveyards. It's strong to bring the treatment into the constitution, and that's that astringent nature and kidney affiliation, the combination of those two things. It's a strong astringent to pull and squeeze water out and bring it to the bone. Good for somebody with a fear of death. This astringency can clear damp and heat, can prevent the metastases of certain types of cancer. It has steroidal properties, energizes the kidneys, so be careful with hormonal cancers. And great for cough, great for dealing with grief. Really neat oil, and though I don't have it written down here, it's got to be great. It's got to be a great divergent oil. It has that Wei Qi connection, as well as that deep kidney connection and that astringency to the bone level. So oil with a wide range of use. Ooh, next up we have fir, one of my favorite oils. I feel like I say that a lot. They're all so great. But I really do love fir. Fur is a middle note. The needles are distilled and it's cooling. Lung, kidney, 6% dilution. Contraindications, none. Actions, expectorant, vulnerary, and analgesic. Functions, tonify lung qi and assist the kidneys in qi reception. So wheezing, shortness of breath, asthma. Fantastic. Top function, asterisk that. Expel damp B obstruction and damp phlegm. Clear damp heat in the lower heater. And it can cause an increase in urination due to that drain damp function. Expels damp heat and damp phlegm and damp heat in the lower jiao. Pop the categories up here really quickly. Clear, heat, dry, damp, and that's in the lower jiao primarily. Damp, heat, B. Stop cough. Resolve phlegm damp. So those are our categories. And again, that resolving, it's not so much drying as it is draining, but that's the name of the category, I believe. Okay, we just went through those functions that are listed in the book. I added a few more, and then, so especially good for damp B obstruction in the upper limbs. And something really fantastic that fur is just excellent at is for helping somebody to be in their body in the moment. And in that way, it's very relaxing. It just helps you to come into your physical self, inhabit your physical self, and relax. It gives the strength and will to live in each moment and coming back to what is true in the moment. So it's also helpful for people who need that reminder of, you know, there's this story, there's that story, this happened in the past, this might happen in the future. Whoop, bring it in, come in your body, what's true right now. It's sometimes used interchangeably with pine, but they're actually very different. And pine is more testosterone-like. It's more directly tonifying to kidney yang in that type of way. It's not good for kids. Fur is wonderful for kids. So they're actually pretty different, and I wouldn't consider using them interchangeably. Strong to clear damp phlegm in the lungs, possibly even stronger than eucalyptus. So that's a really strong function. And white spruce, there's a bunch of different kinds of spruces, and I encourage you to experiment with them. My absolute favorite, the one that I use 99% of the time, I have 3 or 4, maybe 5, but Douglas fir is the one that I use all the time. And it's fantastic for children. It has a lovely scent. It's gentle. It's really good at that function of bringing you into your body and helping you relax, while really strong at all those other functions of the lung and the dampness. And it's just great. And it's great for white, profuse mucus. It does make things move quickly. It drains and moves quickly. So you can expect some discharge from the nose, from the urination. It's going to get that damp moving on out. And that is fur. Next up after fir, we have spruce. Mid to top, it is the branches and it is warming. Lung and kidney again. A lot of the needle oils are lung, kidney, and then it's a 6% dilution. No contraindications. It's analgesic, antiseptic, decongestant, cortisone-like, and hormonal balancing. Pituitary, thyroid, adrenal, ovary. Those are the basics. Right there in your Materia Medica, those are the ones we focus on. And categories, we've got stop cough, wind cold bee, and tonify yang. Its functions are to descend the lung qi to the kidneys for cough and asthma. It is simple, straightforward, and very good at that. Warms the kidney yang, expels wind cold bee obstruction, especially joint bee. Opens the dew. And by association, the ren. Supports the will to live. Recharges Ming Men. It is a lot like a yang tonic. It warms the kidney yang and promotes function and movement. It's good for people with chronic fatigue. It has the affinity for the spine, obviously, the Dumai, and it can help to stabilize a chiropractic adjustment. You can use it on UB67 for postural alignment of Tai Yang. It is good for hypo and hyperthyroid. It is helpful for kids who have an overbearing parent or someone with an overbearing spouse, and it helps to promote that individuation, defining the Dumai, separation in a positive way, what is true for you. So that is Spruce. Great for stopping cough and so much more. And then we're going to talk about pine next. Really heavy on these needle oils and the stop cough due to that lung kidney affiliation that I was talking about. Pine. Mid note, needles are distilled, warming. Lung, kidney, 8% dilution. Anti-infectious, antifungal, expectorant, analgesic, and adrenal support. And it is drying. It's not in the dry damp category, but it's a drying oil. It does have a contraindication of not for use with children. I would amend that to a caution for use with children, because it really activates hormones, it activates Ming Men, not really appropriate for kids. We talked about how I wouldn't use fir for pine, pine for fur, but I would use fir in place of pine, especially with children, in that way to avoid that type of hormonal and Ming Men activation. Warm release exterior. Tonify Qi. Tonify Yang. Divergent. lung, large intestine. Okay. Functions: descend lung qi to the kidneys for coughing, wheezing, breathlessness, and exhaustion. Warm kidney yang for impotence and cystitis. Strong to activate kidney yang and strong to activate the will. Transform cold phlegm and expel wind, damp, cold, bee obstruction. It really helps to recharge the battery. Let's see, good in a chest rub with eucalyptus for coughing. Can be diffused to disinfect a room. For asthma, it says you can use it like an inhaler for adults. So you could make one of those little essential oil inhalers. And so unlike the melaleucas, which you would not use during an active asthma attack, you could use pine. Liniment for swelling and pain. It's very strong to reduce the spread of infection. It can help people deal with feelings of guilt. It strengthens the lung-kidney connection, warms the kidney yang, strengthens Ming Men, and in that capacity can help when someone has lost the will to live and might be feeling suicidal, especially if that's from guilt. So that's a pretty deep, heavy use for pine. But yeah, so not great for kids, great for adults, really good for strengthening the kidneys, dealing with cough and wheeze and asthma. And then we're going to jump all the way back. I wasn't sure if we were going to cover this oil, but we'll cover it briefly. I'll talk about why I was on the fence about it. So the oil is benzoin. Let's try to get to it here in the Materia Medica. So benzoin is it's like a resin, and it just makes it really difficult to use. So it's super good at its job, but it's hard to use because it's a gum resin, and it's usually pretty much solid. If it's not, if you get a really liquidy benzoin, it's probably been adulterated. So where I use benzoin most is if I'm making a chest rub, like a stop cough chest rub, because then it's being heated, it's being mixed into this salve, and then it can be easily applied rather than have to deal with this just really hard and sticky and gummy substance. So that's really when I use it. So I'm not even going to write it all down, but I did want to mention it. It's great for stopping cough and diffusing lung qi, dampness in the lower heater, tonify spleen yang. So take a look at it. It's on page 18. And it is a great oil, and it is helpful, like I said, especially in like a chest rub for stop cough. It doesn't get used as much as it would because it's a really super sticky, thick resin, but a good oil and worth a mention. So we will stop there, give you a break, and when you come back to the next video, we are going to discuss oils that help deal with fire toxins, and then clear heat, specifically clear heat ones that resonate with this exterior wind invasion section. And then we're going to talk about phlegm resolving herbs, and that's another big category, so that's going to be a little bit longer of a video. Might break it into 2 videos just to make this more user friendly. So we've got at least 3 more videos left in exterior wind invasion individual oils, and then we'll move on. But just so you know what to expect, like I said, this is a huge section. This is a big category to get through, so we'll keep going.